Well, my name is Aravind, and I grew up in America, in Florida, in a small city called Alachua. In that city, there's a large community of Hare Krishna devotees. It is the largest in North America and maybe possibly even outside of India. Um, so that's where I was born and raised in that community. And then I came here to Vrindavan 3 years ago. I've been visiting on and off. So yeah, that's just a brief summary of my life so far. Basically, my parents got a Gita in a parking lot just before I was born. So essentially, I was born into the movement, you could say. Yeah, I don't ever remember like not being a devotee. It's I just see that it's so. You could say it's Eastern culture, which is true in one sense, but it is just so um, practical to so many people. It's so relatable to so many people, and that's why you see so many Westerners who like have no sense of what Eastern culture is like. You see them taking up to the practices in bhakti, and it's beautiful to see that, and it's inspiring as well. I'm still very, very young and immature in my journey in Krishna consciousness, so I don't have like in my on my personal, in my personal growth, I don't have a very elaborate answer on this. But how I tackle it whenever I do struggle is that I just think of our superiors who have been successful in Krishna consciousness, and I see that they've remained under the umbrella of the institution while also becoming very successful in their own personal life in Krishna consciousness. They've all become Mahabhagavats, and they've done that under the umbrella or the shelter, the shade of the institution, without trying to without breaking any foundations or anything like that. I I started when I was 5. My mom forced me to
Really?
learn. I actually I learned from when I was that age. Badahari Prabhu. Many people don't know, but Badahari Prabhu knows Mridanga, and he was living in Alachua at the time, and so she forced me to learn from him, and she also forced him to teach me because he wasn't going to teach a 5-year-old, but she was very insistent.
Wow.
So that was actually mercy because he's a sadhu, and I got to learn kirtan from someone like him. Later, I learned harmonium from him,
Okay.
and so that was really wonderful. Um, my mother says that whatever good qualities that I have, in regards to kirtan and things, are from Badahari Prabhu. So I picked up Mridanga at that age 5, and then later on, Vishwambar was living in Alachua. Now he lives in Mayapur. He was living in Alachua, and I think when I was maybe 10, 11, maybe a little older, something like that, started learning from him as well, a few a few lessons, and then I just kind of dropped it after. As a kid, you play mridanga, but then you get tired. At least I got tired after like 5 minutes, so I wasn't very like motivated to play because I was just get tired. But then as I grew older, 14, 15, then I got back into it, and I started going on the bus tours in America, and then I started getting back into kirtan and playing mridanga. I started practicing again. Whatever I knew, I started practicing like anything.
Yeah.
And then I started developing an attraction towards kirtan, and I would go wherever I could or whenever I could to the kirtans um, in Alachua or wherever, New Vrindavan, things like that. But in Alachua, we have a really good kirtan community, so I would just try to be there. I would just sit there with my mridanga, and I would watch Bali play, and I would sit in front of him, and I would just play with him, not trying to disturb the kirtan or not trying to disturb him, but I would literally try to mimic what he was playing. And through that, I learned how to play in a kirtan, and I learned how to develop a kirtan, and I understood, so many like intricate details that you can't exactly just express, vocally. You just have to be there and observe and feel it. Oh my God! Initially it was kirtan, like the cool beats, cool tunes, like what fun you would have in kirtan, and I just kept going to it, and I knew there was something more to it, because that's what everyone says, and that's what my superiors were about. So I would, I would just accept that, but I never really felt it. But that's the power of kirtan. You just keep attending and attending and attending, and you keep doing kirtan, and and then you start to see that there is something more. So now I can look back and say, what would my life be without the kirtan, without chanting? I don't even know what it would be like. I'd be dead inside for sure. I've made so many amazing relationships and connections through kirtan, and also have had amazing experiences that I will never forget. So yeah, I mean, I've received genuine sadhu sangha through kirtan, and that's amazing. When you experience that, you're just like, wow, really nothing else really matters. You just need those little moments, in kirtan, where you're just like, this is it. And then those little moments can just carry you whenever you're going through your life, your journey in Krishna consciousness. So it's still a journey, it's a lifelong journey, and I'm still young in it, but there's so much more to it. People say, I could tell you it's the topmost para upakar for this age, but that's that. I'm not. I haven't realized that. I'm not just gonna parrot our philosophy, but it's honestly the topmost thing that I've experienced. You know, and it's not even pure chanting that I've experienced or that I've chanted, but it's still amazing. If you Google Krishna Balaram Mandir, and there's like a Google page, pops up for businesses, venues, whatever. You go through the people. There's like thousands of reviews of Krishna Balaram Mandir. You go through the reviews, and you'll see so many people are saying similar things. They say, "Oh my God, I've been to so many places in Vrindavan, but then I entered Krishna Balaram Mandir, and it was just like, whoa, there's something different about this place. That the chanting that goes on there is amazing. I felt a completely different way. I was feeling things I've never felt before. I just wanted to stay there the whole day. I just couldn't leave. Like it's just like tens and tens of hundreds of like statements like that from different people. So that in itself means it has effect on anyone who walks in. It's amazing actually. Actually, if you just sit in the corner of the temple for a few hours and you just like people watch, just observe, just everyone cycling through, you'll see people's expressions change. You'll see their body language change the longer time they spend in the temple room, and you'll see a lot of people who just like who're standing in the corner, or who are kind of like wondering what this is. This is amazing. Like they can't make out what it is, and they come closer and closer. They come to sit, and so that's pretty amazing. I can only speak based on my experiences, and yes, my one life lesson you could say I could give is that you just don't stop chanting. Don't ever like leave that part of your life. Just if you haven't started yet, then please start, and if you're continuing, then please continue, but don't ever stop. Especially when it becomes hard, because some days it'll be very hard. There'll be some times you won't want to chant, but just please continue, because it's really worth it. When you live here when you don't come as a visitor and you come here to live for a few months, then you become accustomed to the place, and you can even become somewhat complacent, but it's still just like this amazing spiritual realm that you're living in, and it has an effect on you regardless of what you're doing. So when you leave, then you realize that, well, even my worst days that I had here are still better than my best days that I'm having outside. And so yes, it's definitely like an amazing place. Glories of Vrindavan. I mean, come here and feel it for yourself. I don't know. I there's so many glories you could say, but I'm just gonna keep it to my experiences, which is just feel it for yourself. Not just for Navan. If you want, go to Navadvip. You'll feel the same way. You might even feel even more blissed out if you go to Navadvip. That's the magic of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Vrindavan and Navadvip are non-different. So regardless of where you go, it'll be amazing. Everyone should come and experience sitting in Krishna Balaram Mandir at least once in their life. Just experience it. It'll be great.